to share a little bit with you. Hopefully it'll be broad and general enough that it shares the sentiments of my siblings, not just me, and maybe even all of you here. But back in 1928 at 618 Chestnut Street, on the north side of Pittsburgh, on Monday the 18th of June, I'm going to roll. Dr. Francis Day and Isabel Arch Sr. welcomed their fourth child, Dorothy, into their loving home, which also happened to be Grandpap's office. How's it sound back there? Okay, thank you. She immediately assumed the roles of self, daughter, granddaughter, niece, I'm thinking cousin. She used to be the one we'd ask those questions of. And sibling, or little sister to Isabel, Francis Jr., and Dolores. Her next role in life, Christian, came just 13 days later on July 1st. When she received her first sacrament and was baptized, Dorothy Aloysia, I'll spell it, A-L-O-Y-S-I-A, Arch. We only found that out the other day when looking for her papers. In June 1930, she assumed her next role as big sister to Jeannie. That was one of her first repeat roles. 7 more times after that over the next 15 years, when she and her family welcomed Marie, Joseph, Anne, Carol, John, Judy, and Claire into this world. You still hear me good? Yes. Yep. Great. That was the first one, Mayor, if you pay attention. Role 8 was that of student in the fall of 1933 at Assumption on the north side. She started first grade early at the age of 5.
Annunciation.
What did I say?
Assumption.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to, thank you so much. Assumption's in Bellevue, for those of you who don't remember that. Was my mom Dorothy or Dolores? Who was she? I didn't even have a bear yet, my goodness.
Maybe you need
All
one.
right, so it was at Ascension.
Annunciation.
Annunciation. Can I have a beer? It was an Annunciation on the north side, the conjoined parish that now is Incarnation, where she began her school career. It was short-lived because she started her next role shortly thereafter as patient for the very first time with a broken leg. She had fallen off the punching bag that was in the basement because she was using it as a swing. It caused her to stop going to school. It was early enough in the year. And it wasn't until the following fall when she began first grade for the second time. I guess that you could also call her a dropout, but it was for health reasons only. By the time Mom turned 5, she continued to evolve in the role of self, or Dot, as everybody has come to know and love her, and friend of her siblings and cousins. Mom considered her siblings and her family friends, and I know she considered all of you here today her friends. She resumed her schooling the following year at age 6 and continued the role of student and began the roles of classmate and learner. Within those first 6 years, family, faith, and friends, and laughter and love were constants in her life, establishing the foundation from which she built her life. These things remained present with her throughout the next 79 years, and if you saw Facebook, you know, even on her last day. In 1935, receiving her next 2 sacraments, I'm not sure the name, so Aunt Carol, when someone receives confession, but what's the individual called who's receiving it? No. What's
Penitent.
Penitent. She became a penitent and first communicant. I think that's right. In 1942, the roles of graduate and alumni would be added to her timeline when she graduated from the 8th grade at Nativity of Our Lord Parish, now Incarnation, where we all just were earlier today. If you've gotten the theme, she spent her whole life with this parish and this community. She attended St. Benedict's Academy from 42 to 46, during which time she assumed more and more roles such as babysitter, club member, and even officer or president of the Sodality Organization of Faith, in which they honored Mary, and she served as May Queen because of that officer role of president. Mom reports she wore the same gown to her prom, which was the same year. In 1946, brought several roles. She became an aunt for the very first time. The role of college student began that fall when she began attending Mount Mercy in Oakland, which is now Carlow University, in pursuit of her Bachelor's of Science so that she could be a home economics teacher. Despite her thirst for knowledge, her desire for love took her journey on a slight detour. Her role of college graduate wouldn't come until another 44 years later in 1993, after a short-lived role of non-traditional student while she acquired the necessary credits to fulfill a college degree of a Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies. Through successfully living the role of a home economics practitioner since 1949, she was indeed a home economics teacher to her children. The majority of her credits were honored, and she was able to, I read that, I just remember feeling pride. I don't know if my brothers remember, in the lobby of the Carnegie Music Hall where you all lifted her
up.
I think she was very nervous. She was laughing hysterically as you guys were hoisting her above her.
She said she had to go to the bathroom.
I just think that was such a high for Mom. And I know it really meant a lot to her to finally fulfill that expectation her father had allowed her to forego in the pursuit of her love for Dad. As a high school graduate, Mom was at the appropriate age to be a member of the church's Young People's Club, which is a social group at the parish that her older siblings, by her recollection, Frank and Dolores, belonged to, which served as a primary social venue to hook up with boys who had returned from the war. I'm not kidding, that's what she said to us just on Monday.
It's a different hooking up.
That's right. The club hosted social activities such as bowling and picnics, as well as formal dances where Grandma and Grandpa Arch were often chaperones. Last year, Mom was going through a lot of her belongings, and they used to have programs on very small pieces of paper in very small print, but Dr. Francis J. and Isabel Arch were often listed as chaperones. It was through that club that Dot met Hank, sometime in 46 or 47. Mom tells a story that Hank would walk Mom and Dolores home from these events, which was just a few blocks away, and over time, Dolores would graciously leave them to walk home alone. Dolores would be her very first best friend, a relationship and friendship that sustained over the decades. Just the other day, Mom mentioned that she'd seek clarity from Dolores when she got up there. Just the other day, Mom said she would need to just get an answer, that she would seek clarity from Dolores when she got up there to see her. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that she was sharing with us in her past. So, Mom, I hope Doe's giving you the answer. She shared with us, sorry, lost my thingamajig there. She shared with us just the other day that the curfew at the Arches was 11 p.m. and said her dad would lock the doors. She also shared that Dolores was such a good friend, not just to Dorothy, but often she'd let Isabel, Frank, and anybody who happened to get home a little later than that door got locked and let them in for the night.
Where was she at when I was growing up?
Hiding.
Mom shared some good stories with us on Monday. We had a few good hours before she took a turn. And part of that was simply sharing a history lesson for her grandchildren and even those of us who weren't around then. And she shared that TVs weren't common. Neighbors and people were neighborly. They were out on the porches. They would see them daily, and pretty much I guess that's what led to the Little Birdies Club. The one thing that when she said that TVs weren't common, it made me think her social networking was live. It was actual. It was people talking with each other. It wasn't the virtual social networking. It's probably happening right now because somebody got a text and a call or something on those lines. Sorry, my phone keeps scrolling. One of the things that she shared that was kind of funny was when Dad would come and pick her up for a date. He'd walk down the long stretch of Prairie View Avenue and nod to each neighbor along the way. That was their social networking. He'd repeat the same on his way back up once he picked up Dot. I asked her how my dad proposed to her the other day when we were all there. And she said she believes it was on a walk. And I jokingly said, I hope it wasn't the walk down Prairie View Avenue when he was in between the nods hello to the neighbors. Hey, Dot, I had a question. Hello, hello, I need to ask you something. Hello, hello. But she was able to pop out when I said, how did you respond? An exuberant yes. And I thought those of us who saw that the other day, we had such a memory there for Mom. Donald got it on film, and it was Mom through and through with her response. So Mom became a fiance sometime in '48. That was the next role she assumed. And reports that Daddy asked her to marry him. I got that. See, I hate when I don't read my notes. On June 21st, 1949, she received her fifth sacrament, that of marriage. She was a bride on that day, and forever, the rest of her life, she was a wife, partner, lover, and best friend to Dad. On May 2nd, 1950, she became a mom for the first time when Mary Louise was born. She repeated that role of mom 9 times more, with the additions of Anthony Jr., Dottie, Donald, Colette, Conrad, Richard, Martin, Teresa, and Ken.
You have to read that?
I was fortunate to have, I keep losing my page. I was fortunate to have Mom serve in this role for my son, as is Conrad right now with his daughter.
Thanks, Mom.
Over the last 2 days, I heard from several visitors how they also considered our mom like a mom to them. The role of mother was something Dot was simply meant to be. In 1970, she became mother-in-law for the first time, another recurring role. On November 20, mother for the very first time when Lori was born. Another repeat role there several times over the next 40-plus years, as we all welcome Matthew, Jenna, David, Nicole, DJ, Michelle, Rachel, Eric, Marty, Tony, Emma, Gregory, Maggie, Jimmy, Stevie, Sophie, Ellie, Sarah, Grace, Hannah, Maeve, Coulson, and Nathaniel. She became a step-grandmother 4 more times in 2007 to Josh, Britta, Trent, and James. Mom was a volunteer and a school mom. She participated in many groups associated through that social network of hers. The PTA, the Ladies of Charity, the Christian Mothers, and many more that I probably will miss, but I think everybody gets the picture. Wasn't fitting it in yet, but thanks. Mom was also a BFF. Everybody knows what that is, right? Rosemary and her go as far back as the mid-50s when they both sent their oldest children to school. Mom cherished her friendship with Rosemary, and the two of them served their parish and communities together for that same length of time. Thank you, Rosemary, for being a BFF in return to my mom. In the early 70s, Mom became advocate and champion to Ken. She'd repeat those roles over and over again through the years for her loved ones and strangers who were in need of help. In 2000, hey, who can tell me the year Skylar was born before I mess up again? Colson? When did you become an uncle?
2003.
I had it right. Great. In 2003, she became a great-grandmother for the first time when Skylar was born.
She was always a great grandmother.
Sorry, and thank you for your patience.
Need a prompter, like our president.
Stay up. As with other roles, repeat performances followed 19 more. So to date, we have Madeline, Meredith, Edwin, Anna, Louie, Riley, Gabriella, Alexander, Jonathan, Caden, Landon, Solomon, Joseph, Kaylee, Braylon, LMA, Ava, Diem, and Jacob. The majority of you are all here with us today, and those who aren't, we hope, are here with us in our hearts. In June of '99, she celebrated 50 years of wedded bliss with Enkyo, just 9 months before she became a widow in April of 2000. I'm winding down. Mom's upbringing in a Slovenian home provided her with a strong foundation of faith, family, and friends, all of which being supported by love and permeated with laughter. We've evidenced so much of that these last few days. I wonder if it's sheer coincidence or something more, or just the lineage that stems from the only country with love in its name, S-L-O-V-E-N-I-A. Woohoo! Oh, how does Grandma do it? In reflecting on my mom over the last 14 months, and in particular these last few days, I was repeatedly reminded through my reflections and observations of Mom's final experiences that Mom was all about love. She wore love on her sleeve. She showed love and gave love to all she encountered, and in return she received love. If not always, most often as immediate return on that investment. I'm sure all of us have our own memories of Mom's love. As you might imagine, all of us have been reflective over these last few days, weeks, and months. For me, I came to realize that when Mom's love did not yield an immediate return or was delayed, sometimes for years, it saddened her greatly. When you were the recipient of Mom's love, and many of us were, it gave Mom joy. When she saw her love in you, it gave her greater joy. When that demonstration was delayed, she was saddened, and she ended up feeling loved in return. It brought her joy and warmed her heart. In my reflections, I know there were many times growing up, and even some as an adult, where she didn't see the return as quickly as she deserved to see it from me. I'm grateful for her unconditional love and the role model she's been to show me how to live the days that are ahead. In August of 2012, we learned of Mom's diagnosis with pancreatic cancer, and entered one of her final roles as patient once again, attending many appointments, scans, and labs along the way. In late September of 2010, we convened as her family at 118 Bluebell Street. We shared a meal with her, it was a potluck, and proceeded to the living room for a candid discussion. She graciously and patiently listened to each of us, voice and share with her our thoughts on what she was facing and the decisions she needed to make. We pleaded that she consider all alternatives available to her before making a final decision, and promised to support her decision. She yielded to our pleas, and we have benefited from that outcome by having another year with her. In October of 2012, and this is where I'm going to get messy because my editing was poor and it was late, and I was tired, but I hope to get through it okay. In October of 2012, knowing what we were soon to face with Mom, I had this bright idea of doing a surprise project for her. And after several conversations, I was convinced that she might be agreeable to allow us to celebrate her life while she was still with us. Give her a roast, maybe share some things. So I sent an email out. I put a quick post on Facebook that came down within a couple hours. But it simply was a surprise project for Mom, to where we were trying to collect memories, to put compile a memoir of pictures, videos, or anything that somebody might feel it was special. I did receive a few of those back. The celebration wasn't had. But in retrospect, in these last few days, it wasn't supposed to be a single celebration. The last 14 months of Mom's life created offered many events and created many memories. I can't talk, yeah. Many memories, which, while she was still here, and that with us. Oh, I lost my place.
The last 14 months.
Thank you again for your patience. You're so kind. We are all saddened with the news about Dorothy, my mother, who may be your grandmother, great-grandmother, sister, aunt, or friend. As we all know, she's passionate about faith, family, and friends. Grace and humor guided her through her final days. As a steward of her faith and a champion of her family and friends, she has been a constant role model to all of us. Relationships around her three passions are what carried her through those last 14 months and what gave her all those memories. The same gifts that we are so grateful as siblings of hers to have passed on to us. Mom had a short list of final wishes. She wanted to see another Christmas, and she did. She wanted to see her family whole again. And while we're missing a few grandchildren, as I mentioned earlier, Mom had the opportunity of speaking with all of them before she passed. I observed a few of those interactions over the last few days where she was able to express her love for them one final time and share how proud she was of their accomplishments. Over the last 50 or so hours that preceded her death, I saw my mom's love very actively displayed as she interacted with loved ones, her surviving siblings, and spouses, her children and grandchildren in person with a loving hug or on the phone with a faint voice and loving sentiments. She had a desire to tell us a few things, that she loved us, was proud of who we have become, and anything that happened in the past was where it belonged. She convened the 10 of her children in front of her in the hospital this past Sunday with a final request that we remain friends when she is gone, and a reminder that she'd be watching. In honor of my mom and dad, we'll meet that request and carry on the legacy that makes us proud to be children of Dot and Egg. My mom will be missed. She's forever in my heart, as I'm sure she is with yours. So, la noche, mama. Adios. And thank you for the love and the example of what life is all about.
This is movies.
Oh, it's movies. Julie's he's become the Uncle Herb of the family.
Yep.
Uncle Herb used to do the movies.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
He did a fine job. Now, that's Tina's baby. It's not Chrissy's.
She looks just like his babies
Yeah.
are all grown up.
Yep.
How old is your youngest? Sarah's a freshman in high school. She's 14. You know what that's like?
A few times.
Wow.
A few times. It's live.
Don't we all?
Well, that's not how you ask. I'm just kidding you.
Okay, Mo.
What's the magic word? I'll give you something.
Come here,
We'll
please.
go back into the vault this morning.
Your socks.
This is Kenny. Words of wisdom from Kenny here.
Upstairs.
We started this,
Where we going?
the idea of saving some Kenny. There might be a couple repeated.
You don't tell me, David.
Okay, so these are just haphazard. Some of this real quick, like, I forget what the conversation was this time, but he said, I think we're going to London, Egypt. I said, someone said, where's that? He goes, it's York. How are we getting there? I think they're driving first class.
London,
All
Egypt.
Kennyisms.
Words of wisdom from Kenny. Driving to Egypt.
There was one of the note I come home one day from me. I don't know what it says. It says, hard my shirl.
What?
This was a message to me. Hard my S-H-R-L. I don't know what that's supposed to be. You remember? No?
Colette, I just remember you said about to get coffee and you said black and it came down because like they don't have any black.
They're out of black.
Okay, well, a couple quick song ones. Free Ride, he used to say Flea Ride. Another brick in the wall, Pink Floyd was, oh, and all we're just breaking the rules. And of course, Layla was, I got the sherry, but I do not have the recipe. The classic is walking in your winter underwear.
You got that from Dad, Ken. You stealing Dad's.
Oh, and I wanted him to hang my shirt. No, he wanted me to hang his shirt, and I came down and said, hang me S-H-I-T. He wrote me a note to hang his shirt, and I came, there was a note on the board that said, hang me shit.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one?
He forgot the R.
Give me the other one.
Okay,
There's
they
one.
get better. It's just okay. Now these,
Mama, where you going?
I said, Ken,
Go south.
would you rather find a $2 bill or a $10 bill? He said, I'd rather find a 20. Another song, Let It Be, was Let It Be.
Yeah, hey, Mayberry.
And Pablo Cruz, Love Will Find a Way. He would say, once you get past the band, love will find. Remember, once you get past the pain, love will find a way. Once you get past the band, love will find a way. Okay. Candy said, breaking news down, AGH when Baba's down there. She was there a long time because they're laying off the volunteers. I actually started dating some February 20th, 96. He said, yeah, I ran into Claire McCall. I said, what's going on with him? Well, he's funny when he's drunk. But I stay away from him. Why, Ken? Yeah, because he's mean when he drinks. Then his low flat cheese. Somebody's
That's better than high puffy cheese, Kenny. The low.
Bye bye, Miss American Pie.
She wants to go up.
Got your hand in the pie.
The old Episcopal church.
Oh, yeah, that's in there too. He went to Ozzy's. I said, what'd you get? I got eggs. What kind? Summer side up. This is over here.
That's better than winter side down, Ken. You know your eggs, buddy.
Come on, you're what? You're torture.
Walking in. I'm walking in the rain.
To the bone, I feel pain.
I'm a walking with Aunt Lorraine.
That was Tony's song there.
Okay. You know how you say you don't count your eggs before they're hatched? Kenny said, don't play with your eggs before they're hatched.
You may break them, Ken, right?
We were going to get some Venetian blinds. Ken said, they're Slovenian blinds.
Yeah, heck with them Venetians.
Jimmy Connie was hurt one time. I guess they were talking. He said he has discs in his back.
Discs.
Of course, Miracles by Jefferson Starship. If Tony, you believe like I believe.
Tony.
And that one song come on, Stairway to Heaven. He said, Connie, that's by Ed Zeppelin.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
And of course, there's everybody plays the flute sometime. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all popsicles in my way. Couple of Christmas ones. Mark. These are all honest to God ones. Before now he's like, you know, make stuff up. Mark and Harold Angels sing. Mark and Harold. Okay, that's some personal stuff. Some of these I don't want to say right now. Just a couple observations. Kenny and Barb would talk, and after a while, I'd come down, Kenny would be like sleeping, and I could hear Barb talking. Kenny was holding the phone, and she'd be just talking away. Meanwhile, Kenny's sleeping.
She put you to sleep, huh, Ken?
Kansas, carry on my way with someone. Carrying on in the sun. You know, what's this song by, what's that George guy's name?
Boy George.
Boy George. I know you're mincemeat. I
I know
know
you're miss me.
Miss me.
I know you're miss me.
And Layla. Lay low, got you on my knees. Lay low. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, me and my toker. Somebody's doubles here. Okay, this is hanging shit.
Who's that on the phone?
upstairs.
No one's up, but they have to stay down here.
Step off those steps or go through the window.
Didn't somebody fall down earlier?
Back we were talking about my problems with alcohol. Kenny says, you're going to go to Appleholics Anonymous.
Appleholics.
I said, I don't have a problem with apples, Ken. And the babies are delivered to the eternity room.
Forever and ever.
Come on, you go out to get your oil change at that Maybelline oil change.
Maybelline.
Jingle bells going off in a one-horse Chevrolet. Okay, there's many more here, folks. We'll go through a few, then watch that a while, man. Okay, these are songs you wanted me to play at yours and Barb's wedding. Hold you back, brother. Oh, here's some of the classics. Eric Clapton cocaine was croquet. Croquet! Love flat cheese on it. Mom and Dad had a car. Mark had an Intrepid.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go to a car. What kind? In trumpet. He had appendicitis. Kenny called it appendicitis. The driving, he worked in first class. About the moon and gravity, when Tony said, gravity. And the infamous black coffee. And they sent Kenny down to the store to get 3 coffee. 3 with milk, some with cream, some with sugar, and a couple of blacks. Kenny came back and said, they're all out of black coffee, Dad. Dad said, you got that? Where's my black?
That was not Dad, that was me.
Well, whoever. They got all black coffee.
And the bus driver said, I never drink my coffee with cream in it, but he came up so quick with that answer, I'm drinking it on him.
Deck the halls with balls of folly, pumpernickel and joy. Good corn. I'm really hungry. I got a big appetite. Love fat cheese. Okay, this is this. I'm gonna write a book, and the whole thing is someday I'm gonna write a book about Kennyism.
Somebody should.
Let It Ride by BTO. Ride, 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 let it rhyme. Kenny told me one time, Debbie, I said, Ken, you're pretty smart, Mo. He said, I got a good shoulder on my head.
You do, Ken. That's some good shoulders.
Everybody's faking it.
Separating twins are a good idea, Ron.
Do you still have your soccer union?
Kennyism, okay.
Tonight's 1:30.
That's long. What is it? Okay. Ebony and Ivory was evergreen and ivory.
Evergreen.
Ken, you really come up with some good ones, buddy.
I said, Ken, be careful when you get out there at night. You don't want somebody hurt. And he goes, I'm keeping my eyes behind my head at all times. Come on. Yes, it's all the same. 6 in one, 7 in the other.
That's not supposed to look, I found it.
And you know, Grandpa would always say the masses are. Okay, he would say, Con, you know what Grandpa's dad said, the masses are masses.
I guess it's not this far.
Come here.
What'd you
No,
get?
I should not have been.
And in the Bible, when you're supposed to,
Don't touch it.
the Old Testament, Kenny says, Con, it's an eye for an eye and 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
He won't touch it when we get him.
The bar.
Yosef.
What is down there? Don't touch it, yes.
Was that the Pointer Sisters that sing He's So Shy?
He's so shy.
Compine High.
Actually, it's 8:50 tonight.
Son of a bee makes me feel fine. Son of Summer Breeze.
Sound of a bee.
Son of a bee.
That was Seals and Croft.
He wrote a message for Colette.
Yeah, that's.
But it's fun. We enjoy
Colette,
it.
by the time I wrote your message,
Actually, I tried changing it.
instead of Colette, he had cattle.
Put my name on the envelope and said cattle. What?
Yeah.
Cattle.
Claddy.
Claddy, cattle.
Cattle.
He wrote a Christmas cards. One year was Claddy, next time was cattle. Crystal blue swazing.
Ken, I don't care what he says. You're one of a kind.
Oh, he's great.
Oh, how about
He
this?
gives you such laughs.
After Grandpa Mower died, our dad, we were talking about dying. He says, "Come on, I can die anytime now. I'm all paid up." Liberty Burial Fund, right?
Right. You're all paid up, right, Ken?
Like he told Mom.
Really?
I need to get my legs sleepless.
Really?
Paul Meister, someone's talking to Paul Meister, and I guess he says about secret agent. He said, yeah, he is a secret Asian man. He's a secret Asian man.
Secret Asian man.
You are. Just warming up.
That's what I figured. I'd like to get out.
Mickey wants to lose my number. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll say goodbye and watch some more.
Say goodbye, Ken. Let's hear it for Kenny. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
I told
Kenny
Kenny.
listens never stop either.
I said, that's only a little bit of him. I said, Kenny, he'll try to force stuff, make up. Put that in the book. I said, Kenny,
That's the flow. Let it flow, Ken.
force it. You sound normal. You talk
Let it
yourself.
flow.
That's Kenny, isn't it, buddy? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I said to him last night when we got a truck and I said, I wonder how many people signed the book, and he goes, I mean, this quick, 55,000. 55,000.
I quit counting at 50,000. Kenny kept going, man.
All right, guys, we'll see all y'all. Check this out.